Donald Trump has put his name on a lot of products and businesses over the years. There were Trump steaks and Trump wine and coffee, golden watches and sneakers with the president's name on them. Look how ugly those things are. There were Donald Trump dolls and a Trump-themed board game. Once upon a time, there was even Donald Trump deodorant. Success by Trump. I don't know if it is supposed to smell like success or like Trump himself. Either way, I don't want to know anything more about it, and please don't find it and send it to any of us. Well, now in his second term as president, Donald Trump is aiming higher than coffee pods and even antiperspirant. The crypto company backed by Trump and his kids, World Liberty Financial, just announced it plans to open a bank. World Liberty Financial has already made the president hundreds of millions of dollars, and now the company wants to leverage that venture to make it its very own federally regulated national trust bank. It would allow the company to issue its own crypto coin without relying on a third party, and also provide him another way to, of course, make money by collecting interest off of those transactions. But here's the thing. It might not surprise you at all to learn that the banking industry is a little more regulated than, say, the deodorant industry. You cannot just start a bank. You need approval from the federal government to do so, which in this case is apparently not a problem for Trump, given that he'll profit off this wannabe new bank, and he also runs the federal government. The Trump administration has announced that they have given the preliminary approvals for the Trump family-backed crypto venture to become an official trust bank. And the man in charge of issuing these approvals inside the government was, say it with me now, handpicked by Donald Trump himself earlier this year. Now, I should tell you, both the White House and World Liberty Financial insist, of course they do, they are doing everything they can to avoid even the appearance of a conflict of interest, which at least as of now does not seem to be working. Because this is like a cartoonish example of a conflict of interest, right? You truly cannot make this stuff up. Georgia Senator Jon Ossoff is back with me. So nothing should be surprising anymore in terms of the depths of corruption with this president. But I just wonder, as you learned about what I just outlined and when it happened on Friday, that the president's own government gave him the approval he needed to start his own bank, essentially, to benefit his own crypto business. You've talked about corruption a lot. What went through your head?
First of all, remember, this is the Trump family crypto business that's been the conduit for all this foreign money directly into their pockets. This is how the Emiratis paid hundreds of millions of dollars to Trump family businesses. And now the Trump administration, it seems, will give the stamp of approval to the Trump family bank. I mean, we're in Banana Republic territory here, and there's Don and Eric with their taxpayer-backed tungsten mine in Kazakhstan, the magnet company they invested in getting all these DOD dollars. They're trying to get money, and they're getting money. And we should add, also getting money are their political entities, their super PACs, hundreds of millions of dollars from the same folks who are benefiting from Trump administration policies are going into the coffers of Trump's super PAC. And so, again, I got to focus people on this Senate race in Georgia. If you're looking at the polling and you think that we're going to win in a landslide in the state of Georgia, then you're not paying attention. This remains the most competitive battleground state in the country, and they're going to take all those ill-gotten gains and they're going to pour it into attacking me and trying to elect this Trump puppet, this bigot Congressman Mike Collins. So again, if you have had enough of this corruption and you're asking yourself what you can do that actually makes a difference right now, if you log in to electjohn.com and chip in $10 right now as we speak, you will make a difference and help us win this race and help right the ship and save our republic.
You have raised no small fortune during your reelection campaign. I mean, in part because people watch speeches like the one you gave yesterday, in large part because the Republicans also have made clear they want to target the heck out of your race. I believe the total you have is now $98 million, which I should note is nearly 20 times the amount your opponent has raised, and certainly more than most Democrats who are running in competitive races. I know, as I said this before, that Georgia remains a purple red state. You need to run like you are behind, for sure. No question about it, and everybody should know that. But as you look to the race ahead, as things sit right now, you're ahead, you have a lot more money. Is there a moment when you're going to consider using some of that coffer to help others who financially need it? Other Senate races, the governor's race in your state. How are you thinking about that?
the governor's race here in Georgia, Democratic candidates up and down the ballot here in Georgia. We're going to have the opportunity to expand Medicaid here in Georgia when we elect a Medicaid expanding Governor Bottoms. And Jen, I think the reason that folks are contributing to this campaign in Georgia is because they recognize that Georgia is the crucial battleground state and that without victory here, there is no path back to taking the Senate majority. And they see that the Republican Party and the president's allies and super PACs are already pouring in vast amounts of money to attack me. This race is going to tighten up over the next 3 months. I guarantee that. And so again, folks, if you want to help, it's electjon, electjon.com.
That is for sure true. And I'm not asking about today. I'm saying in October, you want to be in the Senate majority, too. If you have this amount of money, if you have this amount of cash advantage, how are you looking at the question of are you going to give some money to Sherrod Brown's team or to the Tallarico team or others who haven't had as much success fundraising as you have to help move the path to the majority?
Oh, Jen, great question, and I have done and I'll continue to do so to support great Democratic candidates in the other crucial battleground states, and I encourage everybody tuned in across the country to do the same.
Let me ask you about something your colleague in the Senate, Mark Kelly, said this weekend. You may have seen this. For people who haven't, I'll tell you what it is. He was asked by Politico about the potential for an Ossoff Kelly ticket in 2028, and his response to that question was, quote, "Hey, why'd you put it in that order?" So I guess I know you're focused on your current Senate race. Of course you are. I'd pose you the same question. How do you feel about a Kelly Ossoff ticket in 2028?
Jen, let me reiterate. I have zero interest in running for president in 2028, and frankly, zero interest in the 2028 fantasy football right now. And I would note that Senator Kelly is going to be here in Georgia tomorrow campaigning alongside me because he also recognizes that these midterms are the whole ballgame. So with all due respect, and I appreciate and respect and understand why there's interest in punditry in a presidential election several years away, I don't know that we have a free and fair election in 2028 unless we restore checks and balances in these 2026 midterm elections. This needs to be all of our highest priority and our focus. Get involved. Pitch in money, sign up to knock doors, sign up to make phone calls. If you're feeling angst and outrage at what's happening to our country, take action. Because here in Georgia, early voting opens in 8 weeks. Before we know it, we're going to be looking at the results coming in on election night. Let's leave it all on the field, have no regrets, and win a decisive victory this fall.
Senator Jon Ossoff, no question we need to hold on to the seat in Georgia, the Democrats do, in order to take control of the Senate. Thank you, as always, for being here with me tonight.
Thank you so much.